Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about episode 6 of WandaVision, which was actually the Halloween episode, and it was pretty awesome. So there's a lot to talk about. Hopefully I remember all of it. So I guess we should just get started. There's very little to talk about without spoiling, so like the other ones, I will start off without spoilers. I'm not sure how long that will last for. Probably be just a short few seconds. But so without spoilers, the episode was pretty funny, and it was awesome, and it revealed a lot more stuff than some of the other episodes did. I was actually surprised on how much it revealed. So that was pretty cool. And also, you got, I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but it's in the trailers, where seeing Wanda and Vision in their comic accurate costumes was really cool.
Oh, thanks,
so I thought that was pretty awesome.
Many satchel snatchers lately. Quality heroics back there. You sure those bad guys quaking in their boots.
I think I have to start talking about spoilers now because it's really hard to not spoil this episode. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode, click away and come back after you've seen it. I'll give you 3 more seconds to click away. Now, let's start talking about some spoilers. So, this episode, we're actually going to start talking about the previously on section of WandaVision, because in the previously on part, in the very beginning, it actually shows Age of Ultron, where Quicksilver gets killed from Ultron. And that's the first time in the previously on segment that we saw something from the real world. Something from the rest of the MCU. So that was pretty cool. And I think they did that to show purposely, hey, this isn't the same Quicksilver, it's a different face. So I think that's why they did that, and that was just kind of cool to me that they actually did that. So moving on to the actual episode. It starts off with a pretty cool intro, which definitely feels like a sitcom intro. And something kind of cool is that in the lyrics, I think it's the first couple lyrics, it says, "Don't try to fight the chaos." Or, "Don't try to question the chaos." Huh. So don't question the chaos that is the Hex? Is that what they're trying to say? Because that's what it feels like. I just thought that was kind of interesting. And then, also, like I said a little bit earlier, Wanda and Vision are dressed as their comic accurate costumes. Scarlet Witch, they have excuses though. Wanda says she's dressed as a Sokovian fortune teller, and Vision is dressed as a booger. No, I'm just kidding. That's just what Quicksilver said. He's actually dressed as his comic accurate Vision, and he says that it's supposed to be a Mexican wrestler. Speaking of Quicksilver, he is actually dressed in his comic accurate Quicksilver attire.
Where is everyone?
And the twins, Billy is dressed in his comic accurate Wiccan costume, which was awesome because I want the Young Avengers to come to MCU. I think that'd be awesome. So, and then Tommy never really was in his full comic accurate costume for Speed. He did wear a green shirt though, and then he dressed as his uncle Quicksilver. So, but that was still pretty cool seeing everybody in their comic accurate costumes, including Billy. I think that was pretty awesome. And like I said, the way Quicksilver kept guessing was pretty funny. Anyway, moving on. It showed close to the beginning. It shows a flashback because Petro was like, "Oh, a Sokovian fortune teller, that's kind of lame." And he says, well, at least it's better than the costumes Mom made us wear when we were kids. And it shows a flashback to them trick-or-treating in Sokovia. I'm not quite sure what they're dressed as. Pietro had an eye patch. It looked like, Wanda had, like, red hair, and she had, like, antennas, it looked like. So, I guess she was maybe a ladybug or something. Pietro, I don't know, a pirate, I guess.
I got a cousin out in Tennessee who swears blind.
And then
she saw Tony Stark in a dime
this lady handed them a fish instead for you guys to share, and Pietro and Wanda young Pietro and young Wanda are just like, what? So, but then Wanda at first I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, showing us how they were when they were younger in Sokovia.
Money the same color. How can you tell it apart?
But then, sorry if you heard my dog. But then, Wanda says, that's not how I remember it. Maybe she's telling the truth. Maybe that never happened. That was just for the purpose of the sitcom.
I just have to say that I never thought you'd be
Because maybe
I'm just kidding.
something different happened in her past, and that never happened. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Anyway, moving on, we also say that Vision says that he's going out, he's undercover, he's going out for the neighborhood watch, and Wanda's like, huh, you're not supposed to do that. That's not what you're supposed to do. And then Vision plays it off like, Wanda's like, oh, I mean, you never told me about this. And Vision's like, oh, well, I'm telling you now. So, I feel like, maybe it's nothing, but I feel like it has something to do with the fact that Wanda was able to kind of control Vision at first, be like, to keep him with not being suspicious, but now she's starting to lose control, as we saw in the last episode. So, I think that, yeah, I think that's kind of what it's alluding to. Also, in the beginning, Billy is narrating, and he says how his mom and dad, Wanda and Vision, haven't been, not quite fighting, but they haven't been getting along as much as they normally do recently. And I'm pretty sure that's because Vision's getting suspicious of Westview and all that stuff. Sorry if you heard my dogs again. So, then, flashing to, Sword, or outside the Hex, the agents sort of talking to figure out how to deal with Wanda, and Darcy says something that I found really funny. And that is, she says, when Hayward walks to the room, she says, look, it's the guy who almost got murdered by his own murder squad. I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny how they said that. And then Hayward kicks Darcy, Wu, and Monica out because they don't want to hurt Wanda at all. They just want to try to help her and help everyone in Westview. So Hayward's like, okay, get out. And then after the guards take them out, Wu and Monica take down the guards who were trying to kick them out. And that was awesome. Seeing these three together, when they first announced that these three people are going to be in it, I thought, okay, how are these three going to fit into the story? And I don't know, like, I was kind of like, okay, why are these three a part of the story? Doesn't really fit. But I love them in this show. They're like a great trio. And I definitely want to see more of them in the future, because I think they're an awesome team. And seeing them kick butt was awesome. Even though no one told Darcy the plan. And then back into the Hex, children appear for the first time in the show. And I don't think that's on accident. Because in the episode before, Vision was like, hey, why are there no other children in Westview besides Billy and Tommy? And Wanda's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Of course there's other children in Westview. So then, in this episode, she fixes that mistake to make him a little less suspicious. She adds children. And I heard that's why it's Halloween, set during Halloween too, is because what do you see during Halloween at night? Outside, you see the children walking around trying to get candy. So, that was interesting. And then Wanda asked why Pedro looks different, and he says he doesn't really know. All he really remembers is being shot in the street, which happened in Age of Ultron, and then hearing Wanda's voice calling him, saying that she needed help. And so he went to her. So that was kind of weird. And then I remember the one part also, Herb asked Wanda if she needed help with anything. Does she need anything changed? So again, maybe this is nothing, but it really feels like maybe Herb knows that they're in a fake reality, and he knows that she can change it if she wanted to. So that was kind of interesting to me how he said that. So yeah. Then we also found out, because Vision was exploring Westview more and he was getting close to the boundaries, and we saw that some people are in like a loop, doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it looks like she has less control the further out they are, I'm guessing, because when he got even closer to where the barrier is, we found out that some of them aren't even moving at all. Not just trapped in a loop, not even moving. So I don't know what that means. My guess is that the further out of Westview they are, the less control she has, I guess. But I have no idea. Okay. And then we also have another commercial for Yo Magic yogurt. So I was trying to figure out how this alludes to her past, since every other commercial has so far, and it's been a little harder to try to figure it out. After this review, I'm probably gonna do some more research to figure it out, what other people are saying. But pretty much it's claymation. This boy's stranded on an island. A shark comes up. He's like, "Oh, you don't have to," because the kid's starving. He gives him the Yo Magic yogurt. He tries to open it. He fails to open it, and he dies, pretty much. And then it cuts to Yo Magic yogurt snacks for survivors. So I'm trying to figure out what that's supposed to mean. But if the rumors are true, or not the rumors, but the theories are true, that Mephisto is going to be part of this, and Agatha Hartley, if it follows the comics, then yes, then it makes sense why he said I'm snacking on Yo Magic, because it sounds like he's saying that he's snacking on Wanda's magic, because in the one comic book series, that's what they're doing. They're trying to steal her magic, so they're snacking on Wanda's magic. So that's the only thing I really got from that. So maybe there's more. What'd you guys get from it? Because I can't really see another thing. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's more to it, but I can't figure out what it is. Anyway, continuing, when the theater that they're in front of says it's playing two movies, The Parent Trap and The Incredibles. The Incredibles, yes, it's about a family of superheroes, kind of like how the Maximoffs are a family of superheroes.
I'm ready when you are.
But The Incredibles technically didn't come out yet, so I'm not sure if that was on purpose they chose a movie that didn't come out yet, or if that was just like, oh hey, here's a movie we can put on there. But yeah. So later on, Pedro also says, I'm doing my part. Come to town unexpectedly, cause tension with the brother-in-law, stir up trouble with the Rugrats, and cause you grief. That's what you wanted, right?
Do we call them superheroes now? Because I don't remember.
So that felt kind of weird to me. Maybe it was just a joke because, you know, brother and sister, you know, they annoy each other sometimes. Siblings can annoy each other sometimes. So maybe it was just a joke, or maybe it was more than that, because, like, I personally don't feel like this is Pietro. I don't know. I don't think it's him from Age of Ultron just recast, and I also don't think it's him from the X-Men Fox universe. You know, I was really kind of hoping he was, because I personally really liked Evan Peters' version of Quicksilver in the Fox X-Men world. But I don't know. I don't think it's him, and I know there are multiple people who also don't think it's him. So if this is more than a joke, maybe he's doing this on purpose to kind of, like, I don't know, maybe distract Wanda, or I don't know exactly what all would be the details, but I don't know, it's just interesting that he said that. And then also, Wanda asked, "Hey Pietro, what happened to your accent?" And then Pietro goes, "What happened to yours?" So, which is the first time they actually talked about Wanda not using her accent, because she had an accent in Age of Ultron. She somewhat had one in Civil War, and then Infinity War and Endgame, it was gone. Like, she no longer had her accent. And then this is the first time someone actually mentioned that, which was kind of cool, because no one talked about it. So I thought, oh, maybe like I don't know, maybe Elizabeth Olsen just decided, okay, we're past Age of Ultron, I think I'm done using my accent. But it doesn't seem like that. It seems like they did it on purpose. So I thought that was kind of cool. So, yeah. So, okay. Continuing on. But it also, the twins also ended up getting their powers, which was pretty cool, because shows more that it looks more and more likely that Wiccan and Speed are happening. Whether or not they become the Young Avengers or not, I don't know, but they are getting their powers. They have their powers, so now Tommy has super speed, like in the comics, and Billy has telepathic abilities, like in the comics. So it looks like we're getting closer and closer to Wiccan and Speed in the MCU. Unless they turn out to be fake, kind of like in the comics, and then they do all this confusing stuff to bring them back. But I kind of hope they don't do that, because I just want it to be a simple Billy and Tommy are in the MCU. But I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. We also find out that Hayward has been tracking Vision, because Darcy, like, hacked into his computer and found out that he was tracking Vision through Westview, and he can also see the people around Vision. So apparently he found a way to track Vision. I'm not sure how he did that, but apparently he can. And then later on in the episode, when Vision makes it very close to the barrier, he runs into Agnes, who's kind of out of character, because she's like, I don't know how to explain it. She's like dazed, I guess you could say. But and then she's in her car. She's like, "Hey, where's the Times Square scare?" Vision's like, "Probably in Times Square." And Agnes like, "Huh? I guess I got lost or turned around." Vision's like, "But this is the town you grew up in." Then he does whatever he did to Norm by touching her temples with his I don't know, magic fingers, I guess you could call them. That's what I've been calling them, because I don't know what's going on with that. And then she snaps into who she really is, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you're an Avenger. Are you here to help us?" And Vision's like, "I do want to help you, but what's an Avenger?" Because if you remember in the last episode, he said he doesn't remember his life before Westview. So all the Age of Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War stuff he does not remember. So he doesn't know what an Avenger is. And then she goes, "Why don't you know what an Avenger is?" "Oh my gosh, am I dead?" And Vision's like, "No, you're not. Why would you think that?" "Because you are." Which we saw that part in the trailer. And then he also goes, What?" And then Agnes is like, "You're dead." And then for some reason she repeats that word multiple times. "You're dead, dead, dead." Which kind of reminds me of the first episode where Wanda and Vision were having dinner with Vision's boss and his wife, and as Mr. Hart was choking, Mrs. Hart was just like, "Stop it, stop it." Stop it. So I'm not sure what's that all about. Why do people like repeating things in the hex?
Stop in the name of...
Unless there's a reason to it. So, yeah. And then she also said, no one leaves Westview. Wanda doesn't even let her think about it. So, apparently Wanda definitely is controlling them as to keeping them in Westview. But I still don't think it's 100% her because, like, Petro, she doesn't know how he got there or why he looks different. So that means she has no control over Petro. So I don't think this is 100% her. I think most of it's her because she seems to have a lot of control over it, but not full control. And then, we also found out that Monica going in and out of the hex is changing her, cells or something like that, and I'm pretty sure this is set up for her getting powers because in the comics, she does get powers and becomes, what's her superhero name? I can't remember what her superhero name was. It'll probably come to me eventually. Spectre, I think, something like that. So I think she will end up becoming a superhero in MCU because she's planning to go back in the hex. So I think she will be getting her powers. Also, Wu and Monica decided to go meet Monica's contact, whoever that is. I'm still trying to figure out who that is. I think we're gonna find out who he is in the next episode, but I could be wrong. Only three episodes left, so we should be finding out who he is sooner rather than later. And then Petro and Wanda are sitting down after the kids go off trick-or-treating by themselves. And Petro's like, hey, where were the kids before this episode? Wanda's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Petro's like, I'm assuming they were just sleeping happily in their beds until today, right? So it looks like Petro knows that they're in a fake world. Now, how does he know this? Why? Because he's not actually Petro. Even though this makes me kind of sad because I was really hoping for Evan Peters' Quicksilver, I don't think he's Petro. Not the MCU version or the Fox version. So that's why I think he knows all this. And then he also says that their personalities aren't too far off of their original personalities before the Hex. So does that mean he knew some of these people before the Hex happened? Which, again, would mean he's not Petro. Because a Fox Petro was in a different dimension before this. And then MCU Petro has been dead before this. So how would he know who these people are unless he's not Quicksilver? Anyway, Wanda's like, hey, do you think this is wrong? And Petro's like, what? No, this is impressive. It's a big jump from giving people nightmares and doing, what did he call it? Wiggly woos? Shooting red wiggly woos? That was kind of funny. And he also asked, how are you doing this? And Wanda says she doesn't know how she's doing this. All she remembers before this was feeling alone. And then she turns and it decides that dead Vision wasn't scary enough. They decided, so when she looked back at Quicksilver, we saw Quicksilver, well, his Quicksilver's dead body. He was black and white like Vision, and he had blood on him. So, and that was kind of terrifying, almost as creepy as Vision. But there's a couple things that I have to mention about it. One, he only had like 3 bullet holes. He was shot way more than 3 times. Also, Evan Peters' Quicksilver, he didn't die as Evan Peters. He died as Aaron Taylor Johnson. So if she saw a dead Quicksilver, shouldn't she have seen multiple bullet holes plus MCU Quicksilver's face instead of Evan Peters? So I wonder what that's all about. Because I don't think that was on accident.
I knew I recognized that so-called man.
Then Vision tries to leave the Hex, but we also find out that he can't survive outside the hex, because when he breaks through the barrier and he makes outside, he starts coming to pieces. He comes to apart. It looks like he's turning back to the way he was before he went into the hex, which was dead and in pieces. But the Mind Stone doesn't seem to be breaking apart through this, which there might be a reason for that, or it might just be a coincidence. But it's the MCU. Very little things are coincidence. But and then we also, Hayward and other sword agents are just sitting there watching him die, because apparently they're crazy people who don't care. And Darcy's like, oh my gosh, why aren't you helping him? She runs over, help him, and they decide to handcuff her to a car. And then Billy, this is when Billy gets his powers, because he can hear Vision in his head, showing that he's a telepath. And he goes to Wanda like, hey Wanda, Vision, but Dad's in danger. We need to help him. She asks, hey, where is he? And then Pedro says, oh, don't sweat it, sis. It's not like your dead husband can die twice. And then that made her mad. She blasted him.
Hey, I hope you weren't trying to assault a police officer.
But technically, Vision did kind of die twice, because if you remember in Infinity War, first he died because Scarlet Witch blew up the Infinity Stone in his head, blowing him up to try to prevent Thanos from getting it. But then Thanos rewind time and then ripped it out of his head himself. So technically, he did die twice. So if he dies again, it'd be the third time he dies. But like I don't feel like any of the Quicksilvers would say something like that, because even though it was kind of funny, it was also very rude, especially for Wanda. And one, MCU Quicksilver loves his sister too much to say something like that, and Fox X-Men Quicksilver isn't that mean of a person. So I do not think he is Pedro, even though I really wish he was. But I'm kind of repeating myself now. Then Wanda freezes everything. She freezes the people, the movie, even the little, what are they called? The blow-up people that wiggles around. She froze everything. And then her eyes went red, and she expanded the hex. She made it bigger. And as it was expanding, a ton of stuff went into the hex as well, including a bunch of sword agents and Darcy Lewis. So I'm very curious of what's going on. Does that mean Darcy will be in the next episode as another sitcom character? I don't know. Probably. That'd be my guess. And then, but Wu, Rambo, Hayward, and very few, but some other sword agents were able to escape the hex. Like, they were fast enough
we have to act now
to get away from it. So they're not in the hex, but Darcy and a whole bunch of other sword agents are. And the last shot is of Wanda with her scary red eyes turning back to normal, and then it goes to credits, because this show is mean and likes to tease us. And I was like, next episode. Oh wait, I can't watch next episode yet, not till next week. So yeah, that was the episode. I thought it was awesome. It might be the best episode yet, in my opinion. But then again, I've been saying that for the last couple episodes, and the episode after that kept topping it. So next week, it might change. I might say that episode's the best. You're turning the wrong way, car.
Now I'll know what to do if I ever run into a certain Asgardian mischief
So yeah,
maker. Nice work.
What did you guys think of this episode? Did you guys love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was awesome? What did you think of Wanda's Scarlet Witch costume and Vision's Booger costume? I mean Vision costume. Did you think this was awesome? Do you think who do you think Pedro is? Do you think he's some spy for Mephisto? Do you think he's Mephisto himself, like some people are saying? Do you think it's the MCU Quicksilver, just he looks different for some reason? Or do you think that he is the Fox X-Men Pedro? I do not think he is, even though I was really hoping he was. But I would love to. But what do you guys think? Thank you for taking the time to watch. If you like this video, please hit like. I also I've reviewed all the other episodes, so go ahead and check those out too, if you're interested. And if you want to see more videos like this, reviews, video gameplay playthroughs, then consider hitting subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I post and go live. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I want to take a selfie and show it to my great-granddaughter.
Bye.